It has been an absolutely awful day for Melania Trump as her dark past and Donald Trump's dark past continues to surface. I mean, Melania wants her own version of her past to surface. She got paid, $40 million from Amazon to make this Melania documentary that's supposed to be released this week. And on top of the $40 million, Jeff Bezos and Amazon gave them like an additional $35 million to put the Melania Trump movie into like 1,400 or more movie theaters across the country and the globe. And like, if you look at the ticket sales in these theaters, it's like 3 tickets were sold here, 1 ticket was sold here, 2 tickets were sold here. It seems to be an absolute flop because nobody wants Melania's narrative of what she claims her life looked like. People want to know nothing about her, quite frankly, but people have a lot of questions. And apparently, if you ask questions, Melania Trump threatens to sue you, but then actually doesn't follow through with the lawsuit, but continues to threaten you. And then when you sue Melania for threatening you and chilling your First Amendment speech, she avoids service of process of a summons and complaint, and then tries to get the case dismissed while she hides from you. Now, Melania is very happy to post images over the weekend about the parties that she was throwing at the White House on the taxpayer dime, it appears, where she goes, I have all of these icons and celebrities and business leaders at the White House watching the Melania movie. This, as the American people suffer, as the American people, this is even a worse than a let them eat cake moment. Let them watch Melania. No one wants to watch it. She's at the White House over the weekend when Alex Jeffrey Preti was murdered, and she's posting these photos of the premiere of Melania. And people are like, what in the world are you doing? The American people are suffering. And then late on Monday night, Melania filed a legal brief regarding the Epstein files in a case where Michael Wolff, Donald Trump's former biographer and someone who was considering becoming a biographer for Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein shared a lot of information with Michael Wolff. Michael Wolff previously sued Melania Trump because Melania Trump had threatened Wolff that she was going to sue him if he didn't stop mentioning things about her and Epstein. Now, here's what we do know. Melania was photoed with Epstein and Donald Trump and Prince Andrew before. That's undisputed, right? There are photos of them together. And Michael Wolff was asking questions, and Melania said that those questions were defamatory. And so she threatened to sue Wolff, and then Wolff sued her back, and then she dodged service, and now she's trying to get the case dismissed for, among other reasons, that Michael Wolff couldn't serve her. I want to show you this frantic filing that Melania made late on Monday night. You take a look right here. It's a motion to dismiss filed by Melania Trump in federal court in the case Michael Wolff versus Melania Trump. You go and take a look at this lawsuit. Let's take a look at what the allegations are here as we look at the lawsuit. It says the following. It says, let's pull it open here. It says, plaintiff's defamatory statements. In July 2025, plaintiff Michael Wolff began publishing outrageous and salacious stories, attempting to falsely and defamatorily tie Mrs. Trump to the actions of Jeffrey Epstein. These include false claims that she was very involved in the Epstein scandal, that she was very involved in Epstein's social circle, that she met her husband through Epstein, and that she is in a sham marriage that is part of the Epstein scandal. Plaintiff distributed these and similar false, malicious, and defamatory claims through written articles, podcast appearances, social media posts, and repetition to individuals. Now, Melania claims that Michael Wolff is making false and defamatory statements. When Melania threatened to sue Michael Wolff, she gave him a deadline and said, if you don't apologize to me and issue a retraction by this date, I will sue you for $1 billion. She never sued Michael Wolff. She's the defendant in a case filed by Michael Wolff, and to this date, she didn't sue Michael Wolff. Remember, she threatened that she was going to sue Hunter Biden for repeating certain allegations made by Michael Wolff for $1 billion. She didn't sue Hunter Biden. And now she seems to be running away from Michael Wolff's process server. If you take a look at one of the grounds for her motions to dismiss right here, it says plaintiff has never validly served Mrs. Trump. Then you go into her legal brief. It says, first, plaintiff never validly served Mrs. Trump with the summons and complaint. Rather than attempt to serve Mrs. Trump in Palm Beach, Florida, where she has been domiciled since 2019, plaintiff improperly attempted to serve a doorman at Trump Tower in Midtown Manhattan and Mrs. Trump's counsel, neither of whom is authorized to accept service on Mrs. Trump's behalf. The complaint should be dismissed on this basis alone. So Melania argues because her lawyer refused to accept service of the summons and complaint, and she said because the doorman at Trump Tower, where she lives, refused to accept service of the summons and complaint, that the case should be dismissed. So how is Michael Wolff supposed to get to you to serve you? Was he supposed to break into Mar-a-Lago? You know, what's notable is in Melania's motion to dismiss, one of the exhibits here, Exhibit C, is a letter from December 12, 2025 from Melania's lawyer, Alejandro Brito, to the lawyer for Michael Wolff. And here's what it says. This is what Melania's lawyer writes. Dear counsel, as you are likely aware, a process server has visited my office on 2 separate occasions seeking to serve the complaint and summons in the action styled Michael Wolff vs. Melania Trump. As my office has advised the process server on both occasions, we are not authorized to accept service of the complaint and summons and will not accept service. As a result, any attempt to serve First Lady Melania Trump through my office is improper, invalid, and has no effect. But here's the thing. In the letter that was sent from Melania threatening to sue Michael Wolff back on October 15th, sent by her lawyer Alejandro Brito, here's what the letter said. I'm reading from you October 15th letter. Brito to Michael Wolff. Dear Mr. Wolff, this law firm serves as litigation counsel for the First Lady of the United States of America, Mrs. Melania Trump. Please direct all future correspondence relating to this matter to my attention. This correspondence serves as a demand under Florida law that you must immediately retract and apologize for false, defamatory, disparaging, and inflammatory statements. And the letter says if you don't apologize by a certain date, that you will be sued for $1 billion. But here, Melania's lawyer says, contact me, direct all communication to me. And then Michael Wolff does that. And then the lawyer for Melania says, I'm not allowed to accept the summons and complaint. I mean, to me, that's pretty garbage right there. And Melania Trump is claiming that she doesn't live in Trump Tower in New York when lots of people suspected that she did. She claims that she lives at Mar-a-Lago, where people in the Palm Beach area say that they haven't seen her over there. So that's one of the grounds for dismissal. Another ground for dismissal, Melania claims that it would violate her due process rights if she was sued in New York. She goes, even if New York law permitted the exercise of jurisdiction over Mrs. Trump, and it does not, plaintiff cannot show that the maintenance of this suit would not offend traditional notions of fair play and substantial justice. That requires a showing that the defendant purposefully availed herself of the privilege of doing business in the forum and could foresee being hauled into court there. So Melania claims that she does no business in New York and could not foresee perhaps being sued in New York, where her last name is Trump. And there's the Trump Tower, where she at least spends a significant portion of her time. So she's claiming no connection with New York, such that her due process rights are violated if a lawsuit is filed against her in New York. So the case should be dismissed because of her due process rights. What about the due process rights of Renee Nicole Good? What about the due process rights of Alex Pretty? What about the due process rights of the people who ICE and Border Patrol, Gestapo invade their homes without proper warrants? What about the due process rights of the You're saying that it is unfair to be sued in New York because you don't have the necessary connections to New York? What in the world are we talking about here? And then she continues to refer to herself in this motion to dismiss filing as a defamation victim, she says. She says, how could you haul into court a defamation victim? But here's what I say. If you think that you're a defamation victim, why haven't you followed through on your lawsuit to Hunter Biden, who you claim defamed you? You gave a deadline. You threatened $1 billion, but you don't sue Hunter Biden. Are you afraid of him? Michael Wolff, you threatened to sue Michael Wolff for $1 billion, and he ended up suing you, and you haven't filed a countersuit against him. I just wonder, are you afraid of discovery? Are you afraid of having your deposition taken and having document requests and having people look into your past? And perhaps it doesn't meet. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? Maybe it doesn't meet the narrative in your Melania movie that Jeff Bezos, who's become a right-wing oligarch, has put, $75 million into something that seems like an utter sham and an utter failure. And while things are really grim right now in this country, as American people are psychologically tortured, living paycheck to paycheck, can't afford things, as healthcare is being ripped away from people, as educational opportunities are gone, as people, are struggling to find work right now in the United States, while Americans and people living in this country are being murdered on the street, while these horrors and atrocities are happening, you're out promoting a film. And you're sending your proxies like on Fox and other networks to talk about, and this is what Melania, this is what you're posting about. There's so much suffering going on in this country. And here's what you're posting. Exclusive. Senior advisor to Melania Trump, Mark Beckman, discusses Melania in theaters January 30th. This is what you're posting right now at this moment. As I said, this is worse than let them eat cake. We're just going to straight up mock you. We're not even going to give you cake. Watch this video right here. This is what they were talking about on state regime media. Let's play it.
Tell us about your role in it. You produced it, and the First Lady's direction in terms of the creative. What did she want in the film? What was she looking for?
Sure. It's a big week for us. This film launches on Friday, so I hope all of Melania Trump's fans get their tickets. If everybody's watching, tickets are on sale now. And our hope is to really, really get behind our First Lady. Melania had an idea to create a film for a very long time. As you know, she's a very visual person, and people asked her for years and years to tell more about her story. They wanted to learn from this very, very private, enigmatic person more about her family, her business, and her philanthropy.
Well, we'll keep you posted every step of the way, and we'll see how the court ultimately rules on Melania's motion. It is a Trump-appointed judge, unfortunately, who was assigned that case, who has ruled favorably for Donald Trump before. But I read you that motion. What a ridiculous motion that Melania filed. My due process rights are being violated? God, give me a break. You weren't able to serve me because my lawyer wouldn't accept service, and I don't allow the doorman to accept service. How else are they supposed to find you? Michael Wolff's supposed to break through the White House, break into Mar-a-Lago? How are they supposed to serve you? And that's the way you want to get out of a lawsuit, and you don't sue Michael Wolff when you say he defamed you? The whole thing is very, very suspicious to me. Tell me what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million, and thanks for watching, everybody. New Meidas merch. Head to store.MeidasTouch.com today and get yourself the best pro-democracy gear and show your support. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.